Welcome to another program of Not a Game Show. Yo. And then I came up with that a little while back, and I can go over the whole history and all that. But y'all, it's on my page. All you have to do is go check out one of the older videos. And at the same time, if this is your first time at my pet channel on YouTube, this is Volo Television. Subscribe, hit the like button. For the next 26 or so, when we get to 100, you follow me, I follow you back. Even if you don't create content, I'll follow you back, and that way it puts you on my list on possible giveaways in the future as we keep growing and growing and growing. Like I said before, my name is Volo Thamp, Modulus Tautology. I'll explain that again one day. I like to go by Chucky Biblical. Back in the day when I was practicing hip hop in the 80s, because I'm a hip hopper. That's what I like to call myself. Because hip hop is an American culture that we created. I is understood way back in the days as children, because we're the children of the 1960s civil rights movement. And so back in the 80s, I used to go by, I wanted to go by Chucky Dangerous. But this is my old head, he's another Gen Xer, rapper, MC, hip hopper extraordinaire named Chuck D. He said that's his name, so he got it. It's yours, it's his. And much respect and peace to him. But yeah, I must agree that today, me and Chuck D don't really see eye to eye politically. It was because of Bernie Sanders, and that's why I'm going to share what I'm going to share today, just to help people understand the fallout that we, as a community, as a consciousness, fell out of favor with Bernie Sanders, and why we did, because of what happened between him and Mike, Killer Mike, and then with Chuck D, and now he's with A.O.C. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna share a little bit of that today, and I was going to share another YouTuber sharing that information, but I figured I'm just going to go to the source. So I'm gonna share some CNN. This is it's only like 5 minutes of it I'm gonna share. It's fair use for the 1976 for educational purposes, etc., etc. I'm gonna put a link in the description area. Hopefully they don't hit me for a copyright, and it'll be cool from there. And I'm also gonna share some TD Media Hip Hop. Now I know he goes by TD Media Group now. He took hip hop out of his moniker, and the reason why, because of all the negativity that the mainstream, like CNN and CBS, I love this, CBS, right? NBC, Fox, they all attacking our culture like it's them, it's the hip hoppers, right? Knowing that they pointing at us because of our foundational Black American lineage. That's what I am. I'm a foundational Black American. Does that mean that I have some American descendants of slavery in my blood? I guess. But we're here to tell the truth now. That A.O.C. really isn't that 1619 date that they kind of, reimagined. Just like they reimagined 1492 when Christopher Columbus first came here. We're not reimagining 1526. We're saying in 1526 there was a Spanish colony right here, and the brown, black natives came and helped save the black Africans that were being, enslaved, to help build a fort. And there it is. The rest is history. It was one of the first slave revolts. And there it is. I mean, it is that simple of a story, and it happened in Carolinas, I think. But we'll get all that information one thing at a time, right? I'm still on who is a boss, right? Or what is a boss, right? Now, notice that those are two questions. They're slightly different. One is saying who, the other is saying what is a boss. Now we can seek wisdom. We can answer those questions, and that's part of the process of what I'm doing right now. I said it yesterday or the day before. I don't know. I'm trying to do all these videos and keep them caught up, and at the same time stay on topic. So I said Eric Adams, a boss, right? Yes, he had to cuss out some media people on his way out the door because he's getting fired from his job at being the third, I think, Black Mayor of and I'm playing the game. This is live. I'm just doing that to show that it's live, right? So we live in the basement on the studio tip, and I'll share a little bit of that because y'all know Animal Crossing is my game. Like I was saying, now Eric Adams is getting fired, so he had a press conference. All his people that he had his back was standing up there. He told him, no, stand over there. I don't need y'all to have my back anymore, right? And then he started screaming on the media. He called the one dude a LGBTQIA demon. He called another lady. He was respectful to her though. He called her a liberal because she asked him a question about was he being weaponized to fight the other side, and it's like obviously you don't understand what weaponized mean. Weaponized means you're helping me to keep my job. See, Wilson Good is different. Wilson Good was the first Black mayor of Philadelphia. That's where I'm from. Philadelphia. I still call it Philadelphia. And in his first year, he dropped a bomb on Osage Avenue. And since the media isn't what the media is today, he was able to get his second term. Boom. He was able to win easily his second term, even though he dropped a bomb on fellow black people. No way you can do that today. And that leads me into what Brandon Johnson is doing. So when the question comes, is Brandon Johnson a boss? Hell no. No. He's a punk. Right? He's acting like he's a king, and pointing at Trump, calling him a king. Yeah, I mean, you don't get more bitch. I'm trying to be nice, but he's my younger brother, so I can, I'm talking about Brandon Johnson because he's a baby boomer too. No, he's a Gen Xer like myself, and I think I got him by like 4 or 5 years. So I'm 5 years older than him. I don't really age. I get that doesn't matter. So I'm not discrediting his education per se, but if I have to go back in time and look at great books like the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, they mention a term called the educated Negro, and that's what Barack Obama, people like him are, where they get these super degrees. I have a degree and I have a doctoral and or whatever. And I'm sitting here with a little bachelor's degree in actuary science, able to educate myself to become a tautological epistemologist. And if y'all really want to have a quote unquote rap battle, a discussion, not an argument. I don't argue with inferior minded people. A debate. We can have a nice civil debate on what Barack's idea of gay marriage, which was ignorant, right? Or Brandon Johnson's idea of, yes, you are the leader of your family, you have a beautiful black family, but you should not be using your family to weaponize against, right? Especially if you're a public figure, the public figure that you are, right? So I'm yes. When I do these things, I'm trying to be on social media. I'm trying to become a public figure. But the way to set it up is like they want to give me hush money, but I'm not shutting up. Nah. So I had to put my family underground. But me and my son, we're still making videos together, just not as frequently as he wants to right now. He's still working on his pencil, so he's drawing and every day, and he'll pop on here once in a while. Real soon we'll do a couple videos together. But now I know what format I have to use because these Democrats are out of control, and I know people want to say, well, are you going to vote Republican? It's like, listen, Donald Trump is a Democrat. That's the part that you don't understand. Just because I'm a Republican now, doesn't mean that he still doesn't, you know, he's not a Democrat. He's still a Democrat. He's a Democratic capitalist. He's trying to help his people make that money. I'm here to say money is nothing more than a fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Right? It goes back to an old hip hop song. What people do for money. But we'll get back to that later on. All right. So I'm gonna jump right into these videos. That way I can keep it moving along. I can add my little 2 cents to it and help catch y'all up on who's the boss. Now, when I say who's the boss, I'm not talking, and I forgot the name already. Not Scott Baio. What's his name? It's an old TV show where the Italian or Spanish guy was the maid, and the woman was the head of the house or whatever, and she hired him to be the nanny or something like that. Who's the boss? With Tony Danza, I think. And this cool thing with him is he is a boss because after that show, he went on to go teach at my high school. Like I graduated after, before he got there. But he went on to become a teacher for Northeast High School in Philadelphia. So respect to him. I respect anybody that's willing to. I'm gonna take a step back from this Hollywood and I'm gonna go teach the children. I mean that's a true boss move. But as far as his show and the woman being the boss, we still in question on those things. But we'll work on the definition by saying who or what is a boss. Okay, so we're still working on that. I'm still working on the title for this episode, but that concept or idea is going to be in there, and we'll get through this. Okay, so bear with me. I know I ate up a lot of time just now. I know some people are still trying to catch up. That's why I had to do it that way. But I'm keeping it under 30 minutes regardless. So okay, I'll talk to y'all in a little bit, and I hope y'all enjoy this quick presentation.
Harms is joining us. She's a bartender from Horn Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right. There we go.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse, and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side. If you are, or you're a Republican congresswoman, you're going to go back to your district, and people are going to say to you, why are you doubling my insurance premiums? Why did you throw me off of health care? That's a fight that Republicans are not going to win.
Well, and to Bobby's question, Representative, earlier you said that House Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants this shutdown to be one of the longest in history. I believe he said it could be one of the longest in history. He was saying that more of a warning about how long it could go on. I don't think it was a threat. But I do think people want to know how long they should brace for this to potentially go on for. Do you think by Thanksgiving the government could still be shut down?
I mean, I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not. My hope is that we're able to resolve this as quickly as possible. I'm ready to negotiate. Bernie's ready to negotiate. I mean, we are all open and ready to.
Is anyone actually negotiating right now?
No, but let me reiterate one point. Republicans aren't in town. How do you negotiate with people who refuse even to show up to do their job? They're on vacation for what, a month now?
Yes. House Republicans have been on vacation for over.
But the Republican senators are here, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, we've had him on. He said we've done our job. We passed the clean CR in the House. It's now up to the Senate to make these negotiations.
They need to pick up a phone, Caitlin. They need to pick up a phone. They're saying that they're doing all this work. They are twiddling their thumbs and talking to each other. It is actually an unconscionable abdication and refusal to work. They refuse. I've never seen people who hate working so much in my life. I mean, genuinely, they won't even pick up the phone. They won't. If I were Mike Johnson, you should be in that office negotiating with Hakeem Jeffries every damn day until we reopen this government. And any day that you don't do that is a failure. It is a failure. And until there is accountability for people who refuse to work, then we're going to continue to be in this cycle. So, you know, in the Senate, the Senate Majority Leader is John Thune. He should be negotiating with Chuck Schumer. President Trump should be having congressional leaders in the White House. Do you see that every day? No, you don't, because they're playing golf and they're going to Mar-a-Lago, and the House and Republicans in the House have been on vacation for weeks now. We are here in Washington, D.C. We are ready to work. We are ready to strike a deal. We're not here to just be my way and the highway about everything. But what we're also not going to accept is the complete collapse of the American healthcare system, so that just because the Republican Party has decided to take 1 million federal workers hostage.
Can I ask you on that? Because you before have said a government shutdown is like hostage taking when it comes to paychecks, because you came into office actually during a government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history. So what would you say to Republicans who say you're doing the hostage taking this time?
Once again, pick up the phone. They need to pick up the phone. And it's not hostage taking if they refuse to clock in, right? We're all clocked in. We're all clocked in to do the job. They're not even here. They're not even here. And so it's not hostage taking as much as the fact is they refuse to show up and do the job.
Once again, the law is in the Senate. They need 60 votes. They don't have 60 votes. They've got 53 or maybe 52. That means you have to sit down and talk to the other side. It is not complicated. They are not doing that.
Woo! I don't mean to laugh at the fools, but I mean, it just keeps coming out of their mouths, right? Bernie Sanders, and I can really dive deep into the discussion of that. One, A.O.C. You ain't picking up the phone. I mean, they're not picking up the phone. No. You're not answering the phone, A.O.C. That's the problem. Because listen, this is what we doing. All right? Now, all you can do is come back with it again, and we can vote on whatever it is you come back with. But as long as you're not answering the phone, you can act like they're not picking up the phone. You're not answering the phone. You're not taking accountability for shutting down the government. That's where people are. You're trying to trick us. You're trying to trick us in understanding who's doing what's actually going on. Right? Y'all are in complete disagreement. And a few of the whoever is the leader, that's why they pointing at A.O.C. like she's the leader. But clearly, Bernie is her head. That's why Bernie has to sit next to her and correct her and saying that we have to let them know that it's more important that we continue to shut down than to let things go and then come up with the legislation to, maybe give foundational Black Americans reparations. Crickets, right? What about an anti-Black hate crime? I mean, y'all give out anti-Asian hate crimes, right? Like we shouldn't see a kid get hung and then be told down in Mississippi and being told that he committed suicide without a thorough investigation on the matter. right? Yeah, we did have 9 kids, and the girl got we get black kids, and yes, and now the right wants to kill all the kids that was involved without due process. We get that the foundation of yes, they want to grab a bunch of light brown skin people and then ask for ID, and if you ain't got your ID, then yeah, you might be going off to back to your home country, right? Yeah, we get that. I don't understand because this is my home country. So yeah, I really don't need ID because I'm in the system, right? I just give them my name, address, phone number, right? I live right there. They go my address, right? They look me up on the thing. Oh, that hey, it matches up. My face is still there, picture, right? Type me up on the computer. All they got to do is Google search me. They know exactly who I am, right? And then to have these immigrants, right? Or you have immigrants, non-documented, and illegals, right? The 3 different ones or whatever. They brown people, right? Claiming that they black now, so that they can be quote unquote African American, right? And that's where I get upset at, actual Africans that want to speak for foundational Black Americans. It's like, nah, y'all can't speak for us no more. We speaking for ourselves. So yeah, I'm running a little video of one of the games that I'm, Dragon Quest, just to give a little more display, and I'm gonna share this TD video, and that's it. I mean, but TD's gonna wrap it up in a nice bow for you over everything that I'm talking about. There's no need for me to keep going on and on about Bernie Sanders. I already talked to him, and we already know he's a hypocrite. And I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful to him, but he's the one being disrespectful to hip hop because it was already Killer Mike, it was already Chuck D, and now you presenting A.O.C. as your protege, and it's like Bernie, 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 retire, please retire. So this is TD Media, and he about to take it to a whole nother level. I can't wait, you know what I mean? Let me see here. Let me get this right here. And I'll cut that off. Let me mute my mic, and then it'll pop right on for you, okay? Let me see here. Mute the mic.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we are headed over to a random podcast. I don't know who this podcaster is, but he was interviewing Don Lemon, or maybe Don Lemon was interviewing him. Either way, it doesn't matter. But I want to head over here to this podcast that Don Lemon was on, because what he is going to do is prove the point that I've been making for quite some time now. And it's that DNC lunatics like himself are intentionally attempting to instigate armed conflict in America. That's what their intention is, and what they are deliberately intending to do. They are trying to instigate armed conflict. One of the greatest points and idiots that I've used to highlight this point is Mayor Brandon Johnson out of Chicago. When you're making statements and lying, outright lying to the American people, saying that ICE is shooting Americans, they're killing Americans, and they're shooting people.
The federal government is shooting Americans. In the streets of America right now, the federal government is shooting and killing people.
Words like that is an attempt for you to instigate violence. When you're saying that Trump wants a rematch of the Civil War.
The right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
He's declared war on American citizens? He's declared war on the people? You can't lie to me and tell me that this man isn't trying to instigate armed conflict. And you have here now Don Lemon. If this isn't a clear example of these people consistently trying to instigate armed conflict, I don't know what is. Listen to the madness that's getting ready to come out of Don Lemon's mouth. I'm not even going to introduce it. Just listen.
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for? Go back and read what the Second Amendment says. And perhaps it will knock some sense in the heads of these people who are saying, well, it's all great. I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor to cross the border. Now,
There's a lot that we could unpack, especially concerning this idea that nobody is illegal, but that's beside the point. That's a secondary issue. This man is telling black people and so-called people of color, I hate that term, other brown people, whatever, to arm themselves and attack ICE. That's what he's telling them to do. He said it in a, I don't want to say a clever way, but he said it in a roundabout way in which he talked around it. But we all know what he meant. We all know what he meant. Now, mind you, the Don Lemons of the world, they'll be the first person to swear up and down that police wake up every morning with the sole intention of taking the life of somebody that looks like me. He'll lie to you every day and tell you nonsense like that. But then send you off on a dummy mission to arm yourself so that you can get into armed conflict with ICE? You see, this is what I've been talking about concerning Democrats. These people use their constituents as pawns. How many times have you heard me say, including in the last video, they are ruining the lives of their constituents. They set their constituents up to either catch Fed charges or to end up losing their life. They do not care about their constituents, and they're using them as pawns. They consistently instigate conflict for it to be captured on camera and then turn it around and sell it as victim content. They instigate the violence. They instigate riots. And then when it turns around on them and they find themselves getting hit all in the face with batons, if not worse, now all of a sudden they're the victims. That's the typical play for these people. They thrive off of chaos. Recently in Chicago, to be more specific, I believe at the Broadview facility, many of you know that a protest zone was set up so where now they cannot protest directly in front of the ICE facility out there in the suburb of Chicago. They can't do it anymore. So there's this woman that's running for Congress. I believe her name is Kat Abu. Her full name, I think, is like Catherine Abu Ghazali or something like that. You know, she's like half white, half Palestinian, if I remember correctly. But one of her plays is to go to these ICE protests and always put herself in a position to get hurt. And that's what she did recently at the Broadview ICE facility. Her and a group of other lunatics, they went beyond the protest zone when Illinois State Police told them to back up. Obviously, a ruckus was created, but then she's in front of the camera afterwards saying, oh my God, I'm a victim. They hit me. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Now vote for me. Now donate money to my campaign. This is what they do.
And there it is. And there it is. And there it is. So, what you think? Made a point? Huh? Did it make sense? Huh? As I cut these things off and keep playing the game. Let's cut this off here. And yeah, since I'm playing the game, actually, I guess this is the gameplay. Me actually, you know what I mean? Playing the game. I'm playing the game. There it is, right? I should have kept the logo up a little longer, but it's all good. Do a dance. Do the dance for them. So I hope y'all enjoyed this little presentation. I had to end it with Don Lemon because I I've been watching The Godfather a lot, and the Don is usually like Don Corleone, greatest movie of all time. Don Corleone was a boss, right? So there we have a relationship between the Don, because there was other Dons, and what it means to be a boss. But we'll get into that kind of conversation later on. Because Don Lemon, no, he's not a boss. He's a, you know what I mean. But let him be him. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean. But he wants to step up and be a leader for Black Americans. And fam, like, all you talking about is putting Black people in harm's way. Like, right? Dude, like that has to stop, right? He still works for the corporations, like he's still the mainstream media. That's the lesson. Like, you work for the mainstream media, you got to do it. I just wanted to show. This is my. I mean, I got to work on one of my rooms, getting it set up for. That's my main room right there. And we've been over some of these things before, as far as my island, and I got to sell these turnips. Pull this back. Come here. I got to sell my turnips, and then you know what I mean, they are all right price. They not. I think they 127, but it might change this afternoon, so I'm not gonna sell all of them. But I'm at least make a little bit of profit this week. As you can see, I got money bags already sitting around, and I do got a lot of turnips to sell. So I got to sell my turnips as much as possible, and at worst I'll break even of what I invested. But I'm gonna make a little bit of profit. It's a better. The price is like 127 or something like that, and I paid less than 100 for them. Each, and you know, they sell them in bushels. We'll go over the actual numbers and statistics and all that good stuff too at a later date. I still have to work on other things with everybody when it comes to the difference between an abstract, an analytic, and a what would the third be? Algebraic. The concepts of mathematics and how it all comes together to create what we like to call the real number system, or you know. So let me see, turnip prices. Let's go here. See, so they actually 144. So I'm doing almost $50 up. So I'm gonna make a pretty good, make a pretty good penny, but the price still might go up after I cut off and log off. I'm not gonna show you all of that. But that's what I'm doing over here. This game is a farming game, so this game is a farming game. So I can, it's a farming simulator, life simulator, etc., etc. That's why I started with farming games. We worked a little bit on puzzle games. There's puzzle aspects to this game. When you constructing your island, you gotta, you can terraform it and then there's also, I showed this before, right? Let me see here. There it is. Let's see here. So there's little puzzle. Now, it's not a puzzle game per se, but where's it at? I'm mad that I don't see it. Oh, here it is, right here. Where I can create my own tiles and things of that nature, and I did a little. Where's my Mario at? Well, this is my emblem. Here's my little Mario. Sonic. Here's a good one. Sonic. I bought the Sonic one. Change design. So I can draw. You can draw your own Sonic the Hedgehog, and you can see it over here. This and that. It's got its own little. So I'm gonna do a little bit of Mario painting too a little bit later on. So that's another aspect I'm going to introduce. But farming, and there's another game. Oh, card games. I'm going into card games next. So I'm going to card games next. But these are all, like, I'm just trying to sum up everything on what's going to happen. Maybe later on today, maybe tomorrow. But I'm trying to make these videos as fast and as short as possible so that I can get as much information out to you. One God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop, life, love, one. As God is love, hip hop is life, time is holy. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because it is hip hop that is the art of making the most out of life. Harmony, happiness, and peace be unto you. One, God is understood. All, Allah, we give you thanks.